Today's project is this here fuel pump lever mechanism for a 1.5 horsepower Type M McCormick Deering, made by International Harvester up there in Chicago. And you can see that was been repaired there with some bronze, and it's wore quite a lot since repair. But the problem today is I've got a lot of them. These the bushings seizes in these levers. The way that is supposed to work, the bushing would go into the lever, and it will be, if you install this correctly, the bushing is the part that will seize, and this lever right here is free to pivot onto the bushing. The oil hole is in this outer part to go in there and oil this part right here. There's no hole in this bushing to get oil to the bolt that goes through there to hold it tight. So many of them, this is not installed correctly. Also, many of them, the operators just seizes that whole thing up and lets it all turn. But the correct way to do it is to space it up enough right there to where that you have a little bit. This bushing would be a little bit longer than the lever, so that it would be free to pivot. Well, with that explanation, we got to get these out that are seized up in here, and all of these that were seized, then you can look at the end of the. You can always look at the end of those bushings and see that it has been turning and wearing that. But the project right now today in the lathe here, the Grizzly, it's a G9972Z. Pretty good lathe. And what we got to do is to get that bushing out yonder. So the way we're going to go about that, we got to have us a little blueprint first to make us arbor to press them out of there. And blueprints, just a quick sketch. The material that I found over there to work with is that's just a piece of 1018 cold roll. I don't think it'd be, and I've made these before and then used them for something else, but I do need one to dedicate in this tool kit here. That's 3 inches long, 1018 mild steel, and it's sold as 1/2 inch round bar. And when you get it home and measure it, it come out to 498.5. So it is undersized. Most all of it is. The checking with the one that is free, you will find that it is a loose fit in there. Okay, on this particular one right here, the bushing is actually a loose fit in this lever. Not much, but a little bit. So we can pretty much assume and check this bushing out for it marks out 498. So we're really close right here on the diameter, just as a found piece. And this one right here is 3 inches long. It needs to be long enough to where that when you push it through there, you actually can push the bushing completely out. So it needs to be, the working part should be a little longer than the bushing you are extracting. So if we just without getting out anything too much more precision than a mic and a ruler, this right here is forgiven. It could be quarter inch, kind of like working on woodwork. So if we give that right there just say 1/8 of an inch extra, and then down here we've got 3/4 of an inch about. So what we'll do is to cut us a 1/2 inch long guide pin. The way that I determined the guide pin was I just found a drill bit that will go in there with a sliding fit. I run a round file in yonder and kind of cleaned up just the very edge right here, but that goes in there 25-30 seconds. It's a good clearance fit. So that will be the size we're going to turn this down to a 1/2 inch long or thereabout. Nothing precision. If we sketch that out really quick to give us something to go by, the item will look like this right here. Okay, this right here will be 1/2 long, and the diameter of this right here will be, that drill bit's 25/64. 25/64, and that's 396 is 25/64. So we got the figures to work with. Okay, I am going to I'm going to face this off flat on the end. Well, we got that in here, and then I'll turn the piece around and face it off flat on the other end. It's as sawn now, and you do need a flat surface there to press against. Let's build one. And my lathe, anytime that let's leave us about that much stick out. It's about that's about an inch stick out, and my lathe is off 4 thousandths. This chunk right here, it'll be off 4 thousandths. Let's see if we can confirm that. Just a simple dial indicator, and let's just put it. I use this setup quite a lot. There's a reason it's already in that block. Well, I hear the train out there. Just a really quick reminder is these dial indicators. Anytime you're probing a round piece, the dial indicator should address the piece of material there in a straight line through the center, not at an angle, through the center. And you may not be able to see this, but this I have, like I say, I've used this quite a bit before. So the indicator is straight within a few thousandths, in line at an angle to the piece, and it's also pointing to a line through the center of the stock. To see how many let's see if you can see this, if you can see that indicator. Okay, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to bring it I'm going to bring it around to where it's right on zero. It's exactly on zero. Okay, I'm going to turn this chuck. Okay, you see that? That's 4 thousandths. 4 thousandths. It will always be, if the material is round and true, it will always be 4 thousandths to one side. You know 4 thousandths is let's say that's close enough. Anytime you working with 4 thousandths, on a item such as this, that does not require to be precision. If we're building something to a blueprint, we'd go about it a little bit different. Ground us a bit there, just a freehand grind on that bit right there. That was a blank on that end. Just kind of knocked the corner off there at an angle right yonder, and then the corner over here at an angle, and then I did give it a little back cut right there. Might make it cut a little bit easier. Yeah, that'll be all right. Well, the proof is in how well it will cut. We need to know how much material to take off. And if you remember, our initial, the size of this was 400. Let's see, it was 498, if you remember right. And we wanted the inside, the guide to be 390, thereabouts. It could be a little looser, but no, it don't want to be tight. So that's 801. We need to take off 108 thousandths. So let's get that done. Make short work of this. Roll up your sleeves and tie your beard back. Don't want no beard caught in the lathe. And now I am a little bit light RPM, the speed. But you come up there and just barely touch the work, and then we'll set this dial right here on the cross speed. We're going to set this dial on 0. 108,000 is our number that we're shooting for, and I think it's right here. Let's see, that's 10, 20, 30. Let's try a 30,000th cut, and I'm just going to cut it by hand. That looks like a ½ inch, so I want to confirm that, and it's not. That was 30, 40, 50, 60. Probably should confirm before we go too much further. A good cleanup cut on the, yeah, that'll work. Should work quite well. Okay, let's face it off. Finish is presentable as is. The part to be pushed out Okay, it's a little bit tight right there, but that's a little bit mushroom right there. And the other end is acceptably loose. And we have enough shoulder right there to match up with our part right here. Okay, that's good to go. I'm going to round off this part right here. Do is turn the piece around, put it back in there, and face off this end. The facing off of this end as compared to a saw cut is this will give us a perfectly level straight across surface to press again. And as I was building the other one, there's actually another bushing in this one, that has to be pressed out of almost every one of them too, and that's the linkage that has the ears on it for the eared fuel pump. Both of these right here will be stuck fast also, and the same rule applies. There's an oil hole right there in these. This one has two. This one has one. But the center part of that does not supposed to turn. Only the outside pivots on that bushing. So while I was building the other one, that was an odd piece of stock. That's the length it was, a 9/16 the nominal size. 5/62/5, I believe it is what the book calls for. But this piece right here measured out undersize at 5/58. So that'll give us plenty clearance when we push that out. And the inside right there, when I got done figuring, I had to remove 108 thousandths of material from this one also. So, but we got that in there. Now this one is not as long as the bushing is. So when I press that out, if it's still tight by the time it presses down that much, then all I'll have to do is just put a little short extension block right there and push it on out. It worked fine. Sometimes a shorter press bar like this works better than a long one. More substantial, closer to the workpiece. Let's get over there and press them out. Just in a very short time there, two arbor press tools, whatever you want to call them, and you know, they made here on the east coast of Arkansas on an old Chinese lathe. You know, what can you say? We may be poor, but we get it done. Knock all them shavings off of there. Like putting up your horse when he's ain't been carried down. The easy way to get these bushings out is to press. Just build up some steel right there. Got a hole in there that's a little bit bigger than that bushing right there. Put that right up on there like that. Put our arbor right down in there. That will set up there like that. And we'll just everything needs to be in a straight line. You don't want nothing out of kilter, meaning that this push should be in the center of the jack, and the jack should be in the center. Everything should be in a straight line, very straight. If it's crooked, everything will, it's kind of dangerous. But we got everything. Let's put some pressure on it. Oh, I seen it move. Yeah. See that? Right down here. It's pushing it right on down. That's, and then there's a hole all the way through, so it can actually, if the jack has enough stroke on it, it actually can push that. It actually can push that completely out, and it did. Okay, hold everything, so don't let them fall. And let's see what we got. The bushing and the pin. There's the bushing. Oh, it's really rusted, but it worked. Pushed it right out, and we saved both parts, and no heat was applied to the cast iron part. Okay, now we'll clean this up and put that on the engine. I don't know, we got a better one. We'll probably use a better part than that one. We'll keep this one on standby for later. Now let's press out them other three. We'll do one more kind of quick, and call this a success. We have to let the jack down. Porta-pair works equally well in here, and I do have other setup with springs and a flat plate, and put the jack in there and leave it. You know, I do have all that. It's just I had broke the setup down for a different procedure. Now make sure that you got a exit for that bushing right there, because you don't want to be pushing it against flat plate. Very carefully. Once you get everything in line and get it captured with pressure on it, then you can proceed. Well, that one there, that was oh, that's a piece of cake right there. Hardly no pressure at all to get that one out. But it did take a little. So another success, and it's quite it's got a little rust on the bottom right there, was what was holding it. And we've got a tool for the future is the good part, and it did work with just a very crude blueprint. We've saved 2 parts with no heat. I did a couple of days ago spray a little penetrating oil on them, but I see it's dry right there. I see no evidence that the penetrating oil went in yonder. Okay, we got a bucket full more of these to do. A quick wrap up. A 2-bit blueprint, hand drawn, just throwed in some numbers right there, you know, to get us some coordinates to work with. We got them, and then, you know, we made the tool, and it fitted right in there, and it pressed that right out. 100% success. No heat. It does show a lot of rust on that. That was that took a lot of pressure to get that out. And this one over here worked equally well. Just made us an arbor and pressed it right out. Now this one right here actually is worse than that one right there as far as rusted. And like I said, like I was telling you before, those are supposed to be free. This part turns on this. So, you know, just a couple of arbors and press the part out, and I am going to lay these aside as a dedicated tool now that I've got them, because I do have several of these to do. I'm just going to leave it with you from here on the East Coast, Arkansas, Shop Dog Sam. The show goes on.